Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another class topic, pedagogy, but now it is called Perspectives on Education and Leadership. Under Perspectives on Education and Leadership, we completed already one unit, Understanding the Learner. Now, the second unit is Understanding Teaching Learning, which consists of 15 questions. So, the weightage of this Understanding Teaching Learning has more than 30% in this Perspectives on Education Leadership, and under that we already discussed in the previous class Introduction to the Understanding Teaching Learning. In introduction, I told you very clearly that this unit is subdivided into 4 units. The first one is theory of cognitivism, behaviorism, constructivism, and the second one is factors affecting learning and their implications for designing classroom instructions, planning student activities, and creating learning spaces in school. And the third one is planning and organization of teaching learning, and the fourth one is enhancing teaching learning process. So yesterday we completed introduction, how to study, what are the important areas to be covered under this understanding teaching learning, and we have completed up to factors affecting learning and their implications. As I told you, theories, all these theories were already completed in the previous class. I am not going to reteach now. And now we are going to start today factors affecting learning and their implications first. So we are going to learn what are the factors which affects or hampers or diverts or disturbs the learner when the classroom transaction is happening. So we'll straight away start. Yesterday we understood the difference between concept of teaching, concept of learning, nature of teaching, characteristics of learner-centered approach, concept and nature of learning, then different ways children learn. They learn through imitation, through observation, through experience, through teaching. So teaching plays a very small part in the learning process. Instruction, trial and error, reflection, and experimentation. So these are the different ways children learn. Then types of learning: signal learning, stimulus response learning, chain learning, verbal association learning, discrimination learning, concept learning, rule learning, problem solving learning. And then implication for curriculum and practice. Children are divided into different categories based upon their age, and what are the most important or active part in that stage. So 0 to 2 years is considered as sensory motor stage, 2 years to 7 years pre-operational stage, and 7 to 11 years concrete operational stage, and 11 years to adult is formal operational stage. Then yesterday Rajesh sir shared the theories which were already completed, and he had divided the theories under cognitivism, constructivism, and behaviorism. And then yesterday we completed introduction about the theories, Piaget, Kohlberg, all those things. So I am not going to reteach, but these are the slides which help you to revise the entire syllabus. So I am going to quickly go through this. We have to study behaviorism, cognitivism, humanism, and constructivism. So these are the 3 different schools of thought about understanding the learner and teaching learning process. So behaviorism: learning is a process of reacting to external stimuli. Behavior can be explained without considering mental status or consciousness. So behaviorist school believes that. And cognitivism, they believe that learning is a process of acquiring and storing information. Then constructivism believes that learning is a process of constructing subjective reality based on previous knowledge and objective reality. And then behaviorism theories, we have Thorndike trial and error theory, Pavlov's classical conditioning theory, Skinner operant conditioning theory, Kohler's insightful learning. So these were already done, so I am not going to again explain here, but I am telling you to relearn or restudy or revise this entire syllabus. Then now we are going to the second part of understanding the learning, understanding the teaching learning. So in unit 2, understanding teaching learning, the first one is theories, that is completed. Introduction was also completed. theories were already completed in the previous classes only. So the second part or second unit under understanding the teaching learning is factors affecting learning and their implications. So the name of the second unit under understanding the teaching learning is factors affecting learning and their implications. Again, these factors affecting learning and their implications is subdivided into three different parts. So part by part we'll study, but before starting anything, we will practice few MCQ questions. So today what we are going to do is, under each subtopic, we are going to go through few questions. So let us first go with the first part, and before I start this one, factors affecting learning and their implications, we are going to learn 3 units. How many units, subunits are we going to learn? We are going to learn 3 subunits which are part of or which are under factors affecting learning and their implications. So now let us start with the question and answering. If you want to know what are the 3 different areas or parts which we are going to study today, I will quickly open it and I will show you. But before that, you need to go to the question paper. First question, everybody please go through the question, first MCQ question. I'll just share the important information, or I have PDF document, what you call hard copy with me, so I can read that. Understanding teaching learning. Today we are going to touch upon under factors affecting learning and their implication for, we are going to discuss 3 topics, 3 subtopics under factors affecting learning and their implication. The first one is designing classroom instructions. Second one, planning students' activities and creating learning spaces in school. So 3 subtopics under that subtopic or subtopics under subtopic, factors affecting learning and their implications. So now let us go with the MCQ questions. So the first question is to Ghoshji.
Yes, sir. The child receives the initial lesson of the sense of responsibility from home, from school, from society, from itself. Responsibility, it is initially, it will be from home.
Right. The child receives the initial lesson of the sense of responsibility. It is from his or her home. So option 1 is correct. Good. Second question to Smita ma'am.
Yes, sir. Which one of the most suitable condition is essential for transfer of learning? Effective alternative, identical component, practical idea, applicable concept.
Which one of the most suitable condition is essential for transfer of learning? You are teaching something and they are supposed to learn what you are teaching, but under which condition they can learn, transfer of learning takes place is essential. Effective alternative or identical component or practical idea or applicable concept. How do they learn?
Practical idea.
Okay, we'll go with the answers. So for this, which one of the most suitable condition is essential for transfer of learning is identical component. Whatever you are teaching, whatever the child can understand or imagining, if both matches, then if there is both are identical in nature, then the child can easily understand. If you are talking if you are talking about banana, but the child is thinking about some other fruit. For example, you are talking about banana, but the child thinks that you are talking about apple, because the concept learning took place in this manner. His mother or her mother shown apple and taught banana. So the child learned that the apple is actually banana. So here, if the identical component is not present, then the essential learning, transfer of learning may not take place. So answer is identical component.
Okay.
Next. Third question to Deepa ma'am.
Yes, sir. You can lead a horse to water, but can't make him drink. This proverb is an example of intelligence to learn, awareness of learning, impact of learning, interest in learning.
You can
Intelligence.
lead a horse to water, but can't make him drink. This is a very famous saying. घोड़े को आप टैंक तक लेके जाते हैं, लेकिन आपको घोड़े को जबरदस्ती पानी नहीं पिला सकते. यू कैन मेक द हॉर्स टू ड्रिंक वाटर, करेक्ट? You can take
Yes,
the
sir.
horse to water, but you can't make him to drink water. You can't force. So what is this proverb is example? Intelligence of learning, or awareness of learning, or impact of learning, or interest in learning. So which one is correct? So the correct answer is interest in learning. If they are not interested in learning, even though they come to school, you can't teach them and they don't learn. So interest in learning is the example for this proverb. Deepa ma'am, understood?
Yes, sir.
Right. Next question to Suma ma'am.
What is the process in which subsequent learning inhibits retention of original thinking? First one, option 1, external inhibition. Option 2, retroactive inhibition. Option 3, proactive inhibition. Option 4, internal inhibition.
Let us understand this question, difficult question. What is the process in which subsequent learning inhibits retention of original learning? You have learned something and then you have relearned in a subsequent manner, and that affects the retention of original learning. So what is this? Is it external inhibition, or retroactive inhibition, or proactive inhibition, or internal inhibition? Let us discuss this answer. Which one is correct out of these four options? The right answer is retroactive inhibition. So what is this inhibition? It's a kind of a hesitation. So what is this? Retroactive inhibition. Retro means backwards. Forgetting of previously stored information due to learning new information. It is the process in which subsequent learning inhibits the retention of original learning. Now how it is can be explained from my side is, you have moped. Anybody has moped like Honda Activa or Scooty? Anybody drive?
I'm having passion.
Yes, sir.
All right, so most of you. At the same time, do you have like motorbike, gear and all those things? You have motorbikes? Anybody?
I'm having passion, professor.
So you have motorbike and as well as moped, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Now if you have both the vehicles, moped and motorbike, then what happens? If you are used to always driving a motorbike, shifting gear, applying clutch, escalator, brake on right leg, shifting gear on left leg, clutch with left hand, escalator in the right hand, and suddenly if you are asked to ride a moped which has no gears, don't we feel confused?
We'll get confusion, sir, because left leg asks for gear.
So unconsciously we'll try to apply gear with the right hand, but we have to apply brake with the left hand. So that kinds of confusion. That means when you learn something and when you are learning something new on the top of that, you will forget the old learning. The reason is it is a retroactive inhibition. Now everybody, Smita ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Smita ma'am, now what is the
Yes, sir.
which stove do you use to prepare meals at home?
Normal LPG, sir.
LPG, right. Do you know how to operate kerosene stove?
No, sir, I don't.
Never operated?
Never operated.
Right. What about the coal or normal old village style cooking, ma'am? Using sticks and all.
Yes, that I know, sir. That I know.
Right. But when you again try the same cooking fashion, now if again suddenly if you are asked to prepare the meal using that kind of village style, using that what you call coal, or using this firewood, all those things, do you feel comfortable immediately?
No, sir.
Because you learned something already, but when you learn something new, you will forget the old information. So that comes under retroactive inhibition.
So what is meant by inhibit, sir? It is
Inhibition.
pushing it.
INHIBIT. Inhibition. You want dictionary meaning? Inhibition. Inhibition meaning a feeling that makes one self-conscious and unable to act in a relaxed and natural way.
Okay.
Inhibition. What to say? One more example. Sometimes girls feel a kind of hesitation to talk to boys, and boys also feel a kind of hesitation to talk to girls, so they have inhibitions. Smita, understood?
Yes, sir, understood, sir.
Now let us go to the next question. This question, Rajesh sir.
So, which of the following is a psychological factor influencing classroom learning? Psychological factor.
Read options.
So, health, age, and gender, level of maturity, motivational and emotional state, meaningfulness of the contents.
Which one is a psychological factor that influence classroom learning? Psychological factor for students.
Yes, sir. Health, age, and gender is differentiated psychological factor influencing classroom learning.
Which of the following is a psychological factor? Out of 4 options, which is psychological factor? Health, age, and gender are physical factors.
Sir, level of maturity, right?
Okay, the right answer option for this question is motivational and emotional state. These are the psychological factors which influence classroom learning. If there is no motivation for the students in the classroom, they may not learn. And if they are not ready for learning emotionally, they are disturbed, so they are not interested to learn. So the answer is motivational and emotional state is a psychological factor influencing classroom learning. Next question, I suppose, Goshi.
Yes, sir. Children's engagement with learning in school is influenced by which of the following factors? Socializations by the family, peer relations, cultural values, self-esteem of the children.
Which are the following factors influence children's engagement with learning in schools?
Sir, all the force, I think option 3.
Right, option 3. So, children's engagement with learning in schools, these influence socialization by the family also plays a crucial role, peer relations also plays a crucial role, cultural values also, and self-esteem of the children. Next, Smita ma'am. Smita?
Yes, sir. Which of the following is teacher-related factor affecting learning? Maturation and motivation, the socio-economic, emotional climate of the class, structure of the discipline, leadership style of teacher. Teacher-related factor, leadership style of the teacher, sir.
Correct. Because it is not about the student's problem, it is about the problem with the teacher. If the teacher doesn't have proper leadership style of teaching or in the classroom, then that will not affect the learning process in the classroom. So sometimes even the teacher is also responsible for lack of learning happening in the classroom. Next question, Deepa ma'am.
Which of the following factors has least effect on learning? Fatigue, age, illness, gender difference. Sir, fatigue.
Which of the following factors has least effect on learning? What is fatigue? For example, you are all tired. I am also tired. So automatically the learning takes place less. It does. Sometimes it doesn't take place. When the child is too tired, fatigued, exhausted, so they won't learn. Age, of course, age matters. If somebody comes with the age 40-45 years and sits in the classroom, so naturally it hampers, or whoever is underage comes and sit, it also affects. And illness, when you are sick, when you are having headache or some problem, health issue, then it will also affect. So which of the following factors has least effect on learning is gender difference. There is no difference between boys and girls in the learning process. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Next question, Suma ma'am.
The period of learning where no improvement in performance is made is called option 1 learning curve, option 2 plateau of learning, option 3 memory, option 4 attention.
The period of learning where no improvement in performance is made. You taught for 1 week, but students have not improved anywhere, or anything has done, no improvement in students after teaching 1 whole week. So what do you call that one? Whether it is learning curve, plateau of learning, or memory, or attention. What do you call this one?
Learning curve, sir.
It is called plateau of learning. So there is no improvement, means they hit the plateau. That means there is no improvement. Okay, that is called plateau of learning. Next question to Rajesh sir.
Which of the following is an environmental factor which impact learning? Attitude, motivation, personality traits, school.
Now this time it is not emotional factor, psychological factor, it is environmental factor.
Environmental factors. So maybe personality traits.
No, environmental. Environment means surroundings. The
School, sir.
School.
School
School is the correct answer. Attitude, motivation, personal traits are psychological factors. So school is the environmental factor. So these are the factors affecting learning and their implications, and we are going to discuss now designing classroom instructions, planning students activities, and creating learning spaces in school. Rajesh sir, any question?
First question I'm not clear.
What is the first question? This one. The child receives the initial lesson on the sense of responsibility. When and where and how the child learns sense of responsibility? It is from home. Home is the first school. Mother is the first teacher.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right. So now let us discuss theory. Factors affecting learning and their implications. Some important factors are there which affects the students' learning. Suma ma'am.
May I know what is it, sir?
Which one ma'am?
That plateau of learning, sir.
Plateau means when there is no progress even after you do a lot of effort is called plateau. That word is called plateau, means there is no growth, there is no improvement. A stage will come, you will be doing a lot of effort from your side as a teacher, but the students won't learn anything. So that stage is called plateau. Plateau of learning means there is no growth in the learning process.
Okay, sir.
Right. Now these are the common factors affect learning and their implications. So if you ever wonder why you are not able to make the students to understand things, and why though you are teaching with a great hard work and effort, 100% dedication, sincerity you are showing towards your teaching profession, but students are not responding according to your expectation, and students are not scoring marks, and students are not interested to listen to you, students are not in discipline in your classroom, and students are least bothered about what you are teaching, and they are continuously distracting, disturbing, doing so much of nonsense in the classroom. So why? So many teachers, they have this problem. Why students don't listen to them? There may be so many things. They can say students are irresponsible, students are not happy, students are not interested, their socio-economical conditions are bad, they are from different kinds of mindsets, their attitude is wrong. All those things may be correct. But as a teacher, as a reasonably good teacher, whenever we enter the class, at least 50% of students, they should notice that we entered into the classroom. If 50% of students notice that a teacher entered in the classroom, and if they become silent, remaining 50% of students, they will understand that this teacher has value in the classroom. So they will also try to follow other students. But what happens general scenario, when we enter into the classroom, 90% of students don't care who entered into the classroom. They will be busy in their own world. Hardly 10% students. So why it happens? Before starting, I'm telling you, before we start teaching process, these things happens. Now once we start teaching process, or started teaching in the classroom, 90% of the teachers, let me correct myself, at least 50% of the teachers, they complain that students are not learning, they are not interested in learning. So these kind of complaints we listen. You may also be one among them, that the students are not listening. And the second category of teachers says, okay, when you teach social studies or when you teach English, okay, they will understand easily because that needs less levels of intelligence and IQ. But when you teach mathematics, when you teach science, when you teach physics, chemistry, biology, for them it is difficult. Yes, that is also true. Languages, secondary subjects, history, economics, polity, geography are less difficult subjects compared to science subjects. But we have seen teachers who are excellent in science subjects also, who made life easy, and those there are those teachers who made the life of children difficult also, spoiled also. So it depends upon the teacher to understand why the classroom is not interested to listen, why the students are not happy to listen, and what are the factors which are affecting the learning process. So now we are going to discuss the factors which are affecting. So the first factor which affects the learning process is the intelligence of the individual student. So in the previous class we discussed there are different intelligence are there. Some students are good at sports intelligence, some students are good at arts intelligence, some students have spatial intelligence, some students have what you call experimental intelligence, some students have scientific intelligence, mathematical intelligence. So depending on the child's intelligence, they will excel in that particular field. You can't make a student who is good at sports intelligence to study physics and mathematics. So a teacher should understand, and we should not trouble those particular students so that the students will not trouble you. But what we try to do, we will categorize everybody into single group. So they also should learn equally like other students. That is a wrong concept of understanding students. When we don't understand students properly, students will never try to understand the teacher also. So there will be always conflict. There will always what you call a kind of animosity between student and the teacher, and the classroom atmosphere will get spoiled. Second one is aptitude. Yesterday we had a discussion. The student should have that kind of a minimum understanding levels to understand what you are teaching, and their aptitude must be correct towards the teaching learning process. And goals. If the student has any set goal, they'll come and they'll see you are all coming classes regularly, you are attending classes regularly. The reason is you have a certain goal, and that goal will make you get motivated, will make you to wake up in the morning and to study. So goal, if there is no goal, they don't study properly, or they don't interest also. And now the interest, they are not interested in studies, they are interested in sports, so they are not ready to study. Then readiness and maturation. Yesterday we had a discussion that if they are not ready to learn things, and if they are not matured enough to understand what will the future consequences of this effort, they will not study. Then there is no motivation. So motivation is one of the factors which affect the students not in showing interest. Self concept, if they don't understand themselves and if they don't understand the importance of studies, they will not study. Attitudes and values, their attitude is not good towards the education, towards the studies, so they don't study. And values, as I told you, middle class people, we give a lot of importance to education, and if any person from above middle class family or rich, they don't give importance to education, they are least bothered about the education or school. Then level of aspiration, how much they are interested to acquire, achieve their life or goals in their life. Then learning style. So some students prefer to listen, auditory, some students like to watch, visual, and some students like to study by themselves. So different learning styles also affects factors affecting learning and their implication. Then socio-cultural determinants, the background from them, from where they have come, that also affects. So these are the 11 factors which affects learning in the classrooms. Now aptitude, I will not explain very clearly because it was already done. So aptitude refers to the potential of a learner to assimilate knowledge, skills or understanding successfully. If the aptitude of the student is not great, so they can't understand. Even though you teach them 100 times, they may not understand. You can make them to mug up, you can make them to learn by heart, but they will not understand. Okay. Attitude refers to a mental state that affects performance. Depending on whether we have a positive or negative attitude towards learning, we may do well or badly in our studies. Then concentration, motivation, intelligence. This is one of the important factors. Every student is unique and the students have different levels of intelligence. We can't make everybody to understand the things in equal manner. Some students have spatial intelligence, some students have verbal intelligence, some students have visual. Different intelligence are there. So we can't make everybody to understand the concept in an equal manner. Then readiness to learn. Then different intelligences are there. Visual, spatial intelligence, logical, mathematical intelligence, verbal linguistic intelligence. Those who have this verbal linguistic intelligence refers to idea of speaking and listening, so they can become good speakers. Then musical intelligence, they can become good musicians. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence, so they will excel in sports field. And interpersonal intelligence. Intrapersonal intelligence, naturalistic intelligence, and existential intelligence. There are 9 types of intelligence are there. Yesterday we had a discussion. Now different types of teaching methods also there, and that also one of the factors affects the teaching learning process. So lecture method, most of us we follow lecture method, discussion method, forms of discussion, demonstration method, role play method, and project method. These are the different types of methods available for teaching. Then now we are going to the main concept or main topic, designing classroom instructions. Up to here it is just introduction to the topic, factors affecting learning and their implications. So now it is divided into 3 subtopics, designing classroom instructions. Before we start introduction to designing classroom instructions, let us go with the MCQ questions. Smita ma'am.
Sir, you told some students may be visual, some students may be spatial learners, right, sir? So, what is spatial learners?
Visual, auditory intelligence, we had a discussion in the last class. Okay. Visual spatial intelligence. This intelligence refers to ability to think 3-dimensionally. Architects, artists, sailors are people who exhibit this intelligence. For example, architect has to visualize the structure of the building in 3-dimensional manner before they construct the building. Right? Smita ma'am? Understood, Smita? Go.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, audible. Did you understand, Smita, now?
Sir?
Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like architects. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Understood.
Goji.
Sir, actually, different methods are there for teaching. Actually, there is a question in MPS. In order to teach economics, which method is appropriate? There are options like demonstration, project method, then video listening, and another options was there. So, in order to teach economics, which will be the correct method, sir?
See, lecture method is not preferred nowadays. If there is any option called lecture method, you can directly delete that lecture method. Nowadays, most of the subjects, not science subjects, generally demonstration method is the best way. So they'll demonstrate in front of the students, and that is the way the science teachers can teach concepts to the students. When it comes to economics, it can be a discussion method, may be appropriate if that option is there.
Okay,
microeconomics,
sir,
macroeconomics. Ma'am, Sweta ma'am.
That was NVS question, right, Josh, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, madam.
I think one option was using magazines, and another option was using maps and images, something like that, sir. An answer I chose using magazines, but answer was using maps and images, like that, sir.
Economics.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I too had a doubt on that.
Okay, you share the question, ma'am, afterwards. Now let us let us go to the subtopic under factors affecting, because introduction is also important for the entire unit, and introduction to each sub unit is also important. And now we are going to discuss sub units under this topic, so that in my mind also the concept is very clear. Introduction to the main unit, understanding the teaching learning, completed. Now under that, factors affecting teaching learning is a subtopic, so introduction to the subtopic is also important. And then after that, under the subtopic we have 3 subtopics, right? So first one is designing classroom instructions. But before I explain, let us go with few questions. I have framed few questions on screen. So first question to Smita ma'am.
Yes, sir. The main objective of to prepare students to identify daily so that they can be environment for teaching to safe teachers.
Okay, I'll read because you are not audible clearly. What is the main objective of school discipline? Why everybody wants discipline in the school? Teachers want discipline, parents want discipline, principal want discipline, society wants discipline in the school. We all want students to be taught discipline first, than education next. So why it is main objective of school discipline? What is the main objective of school discipline? Objectives of school discipline: to provide a safe environment for students, or to identify delinquents so that they can be remediated, to provide conducive environment for teaching, or to ensure safety of teachers. So why do we need discipline, and what is the main objective of school discipline? The answer is to provide conducive environment for teaching. When you enter into the classroom, practically speaking, when you enter into the classroom, if students are not ready to listen to you, if students are not sitting silently in the classroom, then you can't do anything in the classroom. 90% of the energy of the teacher in the lower classes is being diverted in controlling the students than teaching in the classrooms. So that's why primary teachers, they get more exhausted after completion of school hours. Trained graduate teachers, TGTs, also get lot of exhaustion after completion of school hours, but PGTs, like postgraduate teachers, we don't get that much exhaustion. We'll after even completion of school hours also, we will be calm, smiling and talking. So there is a difference between PGTs, TGTs and PRTs. I am not telling about the salary differences. I am telling about the daily routine of the teacher. If a PRT is there, the PRT should control the students for 8 hours or 8 periods continuously. They will not get any kind of relaxation. In and on or off and on, whatever the word you want to use, you can use. Inside the classroom, outside the classroom, they have to control the students. Discipline is most important in the primary classes. So the teachers will behave very strict in the primary section, and they have to shout, they have to run, whatnot they do to control the students in the primary. And students, they are least bothered about the teachers because they don't recognize that the teacher is a teacher. So PRTs. Trained graduate teachers also, they get this kind of problem because they teach from class 6 to class 8 and 10. So class 6 to 8, they are almost all like children. So they also don't understand the teacher's emotion. And 9th and 10th class students are volatile. They are hyperactive and very difficult to control. 9th class and 10th class students. You tell them 100 times, they'll forget 101 time. Okay. And when you come to 11th class and 12th class, what happens in class 11 and class 12 in the classrooms is the teacher is qualified, experienced and well behaved. 99% of students, they'll sit silently in the classroom, because before they come and sit in your classroom, or before you enter in the classroom, or what I mean to say, once they come out of the 10th class and at the time of taking admission into the 11th class, once they join the school, they'll get complete information about the teachers. Who teaches English, who teaches mathematics, who is going to teach physics, everything they'll get. And what about the nature, what about the behavior, and what about the teaching, effectiveness of the teacher. So they'll collect all the information before you enter into the classroom. And if they developed a positive impression on you, 99% whatever you teach, they will listen. But before we enter into the classroom, before the first day, if they come up with a different opinion on you, whatever you do, they will not listen. So once you fail to establish yourself as a good teacher in the institution, it is very difficult to survive in the successive years. Coming years will be very, very difficult. So the main objective of school is discipline, is to provide conducive environment for teaching. When you can make the students to sit in the classroom silently, automatically you can teach them in a better manner. If you can't make the students to sit silently, then not only you are wasting your valuable time, and you are not even creating conducive atmosphere for other students who are interested to study. So main objective of school discipline is to provide conducive environment for teaching. If you can make the students to sit silently, automatically whatever you teach will become Bible, Quran, Bhagavad Gita to students. So that is what actually we are supposed to do before we start teaching. But that is not so easy also. Next question to Deepa ma'am.
Which of the following approaches has been used extensively to familiarize students with ideas in the textbook Social and Political Life published by the NCERT? Timeline, graph, chart, storybook.
Now it comes to social and political life. When you are teaching about the students about social and political life, which is published in NCERT, which one would be the more important approach? Timeline approach, graph or chart or storyboard?
Storyboard.
Storyboard, correct. So when you want to discuss or when you want to teach independent struggle, instead of teaching lecture method, instead of showing them timeline or a chart or graph, if you show the storyboard, how the people revolted against Britishers and how did they get the independence. So that will become more easy for them to understand. So storyboard approach is correct to familiarize students with ideas in the textbook social and political life. Next one. Third question to whom? Rajesh sir.
Which of the following is or are features of a learner-centered social science class? Creating space for exploration into social issues, respect for multiple views, views of multilingualism.
When you are teaching social science in the classroom, which of the features are important? Creating space for exploration into social issues, respect for multiple views, use of multilingualism. How many are important? What are important? Or all are important?
So only two, I think. Respect for multiple views and use this one, creating space for exploration into social issues.
So where is that combination 1 and 2, Rajesh sir?
Both 1 and 2 is there.
Okay, you want to go with option 2.
Yes.
So you think that which are the following are is features of a learner-centered social science class. So if you are teaching social science in the classroom, what are the features are important? Creating space for exploration into social issues. Okay, they will ask so many questions about the topic which you are explaining. Then respect for multiple views. If you say that Gandhi is the greatest person, they will say no sir, Subhash Chandra Bose is the greatest person. So multiple views. But what about use of multilingualism? Is it not part of learner-centered?
It is not part of learner-centered because there is no space to speak in different languages at a time. No? Multilingualism.
When they can't understand a concept, what's wrong if you use different language, the one which is important or easy for the student to understand?
But local schools will be happen, sir. But in strictly prohibited some areas are there, no? English or Hindi. For example, we have to teach in class 9th in KVS. We have to teach only in 2 languages, no, sir.
But that is called multilingualism, no? You can either teach in English or teach in...
more than 2 languages.
More than one. Multilingualism, correct? It is a learner-centered social science class.
Bilingualism is nothing but 2 languages, sir. Multi means more than 2.
More than 2. Multilingualism.
Multi means more than 2. Bilingual means only 2.
Multilingual means using of several languages. We can use any language or more than 2 languages also we can use because it is learner-centered social science classroom.
But it is a confusion. But 1 and 2 is 100% correct.
See, in KVS, for example, in Bangalore city, we have different set of students. Students, they speak, nobody mother tongue is English, so they speak Hindi. Some may speak. Some of the students speak Hindi. Some of the students speak Telugu. Some of the students speak Kannada. Some of the students speak Tamil. Some of the students speak Malayalam. Some of the students speak some other language. So in a classroom, what we do, within few weeks we'll identify who are the students from different linguistic backgrounds. So whenever we interact with them, we'll try to speak in their local language. When I speak to Tamil people, I speak to Tamil only, in Tamil only. When I speak to Kannada students, I'll speak in Kannada. When I come interact with Telugu students, I'll speak in Telugu, so that they'll get attracted and they'll get attached, so that sir is speaking our mother tongue. So using a multilingualism in the classroom is actually learner-centered approach.
So both all options are correct.
All options are correct. Okay. So what is this one? Designing classroom instructions. This question comes under designing classroom instructions. Okay. Now what is this classroom instruction? Let us understand. The process of creating or providing a controlled environment with which an individual interacts to attain certain pre-decided learning objectives is called instruction. So why should we design instructions in the classroom? If you don't design an instruction, unit plan, lesson plan, annual plan, then what will happen? Nobody will understand what you are teaching and nobody will understand what they are going to learn. So process of creating or providing a controlled environment with which an individual interacts to obtain certain pre-decided learning objectives is called instruction. Okay, now in the beginning we'll conduct periodic test 1. Now during winter vacation, before winter vacation we have to complete half yearly. After completion of winter vacation we have to complete periodic test 2, and in the month of February or March we have to complete the session-ending examination. So these are the clear-cut instructions. So students will also study according to these instructions. So instructions are important because they provide a controlled environment with which a student interacts to attain certain pre-decided learning objectives. So that is called instructions, and we have to understand designing classroom instructions. Now let us see one more question. Another questions. Let us go with the components of instructional environment. Okay. Now what are the components of instructional environment? Wait a minute. What happened? There are a few more questions. Okay, 3 questions we completed, correct? All right. Wait. Which question was this? Last question before I... This is first question, second question, third question. Rajesh sir, here we got confusion, correct? Rajesh sir?
Sir, 3 options are also correct.
No. Right. I was confused actually. The answer option is correct. 3 answers are correct. First, second, third, all 3 are correct. So there is no confusion, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now we started what is classroom instructions. Okay. Now classroom instruction means predefined goals, predefined learning objectives, so that the students will come and they will understand things so that they'll get some benefit. So now components of instructional environment. So what are the components to design classroom instructions or instructional environment? How to create a predefined environment so that the learners will get maximum benefit. So components of instructional environment, there are teachers are there, learners are there, learning experiences are component of instructional, method of teaching, media, audio, video, all those things, and assessment strategies. Are you going to assess the students orally? Are you going to assess the students on paper? So all these are the components of instructional environment. So teachers, learners, learning experiences, method, media, and assessment strategies. Now if you look at the screen, this is the picture or this is the photo. Components of instructional environment they have given. Heading is instructional environment. So imagine we are here teacher. So you are the teacher. Let us say Ghoshji is the teacher. And here are the learners. So we are all learners. We are sitting here and we are listening to Ghosh. So Ghosh is teaching. And this teaching is creating, or this teaching is through a method. Let us assume Ghosh has used lecture method. Which method Ghoshji are using?
Lecture method.
You are using a lecture method to teach something. So that is actually instruction from the school that you have to teach. For example, you are teaching grammar articles and you are using lecture method, and you are teaching using demonstration lecture method teaching articles, and we are all learners, we are listening, and that will create one learning experience. So when you teach articles using lecture method, that creates one learning experience. Next, what happens? Deepa ma'am comes. Deepa ma'am is teacher and now we are all students. Now Deepa ma'am also wants to teach the same topic, articles, but instead of teaching the articles using lecture method, now Deepa ma'am took the role play. Which method Deepa ma'am you are using?
Role play.
Role play, and that will also create a different learning experience. That means the teacher's methodology creates learning experiences. Now we are going to use a media, whether it is audio, video, visual, or normal chalk and talk method, and then after completion of this information, now what are we going to at the final? We are going to assess. So this entire setup will be predefined or pre-decided. What method should be followed to teach which topic? So all those things comes under instruction environment. And in a larger sense, if we take in the annual plan, if you take any topic, they divide that subject into different units, and each unit they'll specify chapters, and even they'll give the methodology. In English, I can tell you some chapters they give importance, or some chapters they give preference to role play, and some chapters they give conversation, some chapters they give paragraph writing, some chapters they give story writing. So that means they even tell what we are supposed to do when we are teaching that one. So dialogue, conversation, storytelling, all these things part of the methodologies we have to adapt. So this is the instructions. So simple, one thing you need to understand, instructions in the school means why the school will come with an annual academic plan, why the teacher has to prepare a lesson plan, and why the teacher has to go with the unit plan. So because if you don't do that one, if there is no such kind of instruction, then it will go into different directions. That is the reason. Now, instructional design starts in the beginning of the academic year when a teacher prepares the annual plan. So annual plan is the major one. So in that annual plan only unit plan comes, in the unit plans only lesson plan comes. So instructional design starts in the beginning of the academic year when a teacher prepares the annual plan for teaching a subject. Every month, what we have to teach in the month of April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. So the entire annual plan we will prepare, that will call as the syllabus or annual plan we write in our teacher's diary. The instructional design at the pre-instructional phase involves 4 levels. Let me read again. The instructional design. So we are discussing designing classroom instruction. At the pre-instructional phase involves 4 levels. There are 4 levels are there. First one is course level. Second one is lesson level. Third level is instructional event level. And the fourth one is transactional level. So what is this course level? Where instructional planning is done to specify main objectives of the course and detail out the specific lessons or units, it comes under course level. So designing of the course happens at the course level. Lesson level, where each lesson is planned to cover one or more objectives. Now when you teach first lesson, what is the main objective? If when you teach the second lesson, what is the main objective? So likewise, every lesson has a different objects. For example, if you read the lesson 1, a portrait of a lady, this is the first lesson in the class 11 textbook. It has a particular objective to make the students to learn story writing. The way Khushwant Singh had written that story will get influenced by the students will get influenced by the writing style, so they should learn story writing. And when you come to the next one, poetry, the first poem, a photograph, when you read the poem photograph, the student has to learn, the objective is to learn the rhyme scheme of the poem, what is the meter used in the poem. So likewise, every lesson has a particular main objective. What is the main objective will be decided at the lesson level. So without any objective, no lesson can be taught in the classroom. Level 3, instructional event level, where enabling objectives are specific and detailed lesson plan is designed for each objective covering appropriate media and method. So in the lesson plan we have to write whether you are going to use only duster and chalk and blackboard to teach or textbook to teach. Are you going to use the overhead projector? Are you going to use the LCD projector? Are you going to use any YouTube videos? So likewise, everything must be informed in this instructional event level. Fourth one, level 4 is transactional level, where each instructional event, so you can see the course level is attached with the lesson level is attached to the instructional level, and instruction level is finally to the transactional level, where each instructional event is planned in detail to write instructional materials. A teacher in a classroom is concerned with the instructional design processes at one or more levels at any point of time. Now you have annual plan, you have in that annual plan they have given you when you have to teach tense, but you can't teach tense directly. Through one lesson you have to teach. So that is your lesson plan objective. So you have to teach that lesson. Through the lesson you have to teach the tenses. So for that, what you do, you will use this instructional event level. What kind of objectives you want to achieve after teaching tenses through the textbook. Then when it comes to transactional level, what method you adapt to teach tenses, what type of information you want to pass, what sentences you write, what tenses you write, all this comes under the transactional level. A teacher in classroom is concerned with the instructional design process at one or more levels at any point of time. So all these 4 levels are part of pre-instructional phase, involves 4 levels. So before you go to the classroom, you have to prepare all these levels so that you can teach in an effective manner. Right? These are the components of instructional environment. Then if you go to the next one, few definitions are there. Few people gave some these kind of definitions. According to Ellison, major steps involved in designing an instructional environment in a classroom are analyze learners' needs. So before you prepare your lesson plan, annual plan, academic plan, unit plan, all those things, you should know what is the learner's need, what they are actually need. So analyze learner's need, first step. Then design instruction according to the learner's requirement. We have to design the curriculum or syllabus or lesson plan. Then develop instructional materials like charts, maps, graphs, LCD projectors, all those things we have to develop. Comes under instructional materials. And implement the instructions. So okay, you have written very well the academic plan, you have very well prepared lesson plan, unit plan, everything is there, but you are not using that instruction in the classroom. So we have to implement that instruction. Then evaluate and revise the instruction. Now okay, you have done everything, but the outcome is zero. There is no use. Nothing was learned by this entire instruction. So you have to evaluate the instruction. If it is not good, if it is not appropriate, then you have to revise the instruction. You have to change the instruction. So this is according to Ellison. Then another one, the instructional design model for a classroom according to Ellison is as follows. Here only, instructional design. What is the design? Write instructional goals, conduct instructional analysis, analyze learners' need and syllabus. Then write learning outcomes. So if you open the teacher's diary of KVS, we have to write the learners' outcomes, and we have to write the goals. What is the goal of teaching this particular unit? What is the learning outcomes or expected learning outcomes? Then develop assessment strategies. So questions, what type of questions you are going to write? Open-ended questions, closed questions, MCQ questions, descriptive questions, and then what do you call other type of questions which check the background information. So different type of strategies we have to adapt. Select and design instructional strategy. Develop and select instructional materials. Select appropriate media, what you are going to show in the classroom. Implement the plan. Evaluate and revise the instructions. So these are the part of instructional design model for a classroom. Now next one. Okay, this is the last, this is the information about designing classroom instructions. But let me tell you very frankly, when I was preparing for this topic, components of instruction environment or designing classroom activities, everything looked very boring in the information. There was nothing more attractive, more interesting, because it is about actually preparing annual plan effectively, unit plan effectively, and lesson plan effectively. But if you don't prepare, design these kind of classroom instructions, all this comes under instructions. Unit plan, lesson plan, academic plan comes under instructions. So that is the first thing. When you don't prepare annual plan, when you don't prepare unit plan, and when you don't prepare lesson plan, then what happens? The learning outcomes will not come according to your view, because there will be no proper instruction throughout the year. So any teacher can come and teach any topic at any time with any method. So that is the reason why we need to understand that designing classroom instructions means it involves annual plan, unit plan, lesson plan, and this instruction design at a pre-instructional phase. Before we enter into the classroom only, we have to complete all these things. It has 4 levels: course level, lesson level, instructional event level, and transactional level. This is the first sub unit under factors affecting learning and their implication. That means if you don't design the classroom instructions properly, that will affect the learning environment. Now second sub unit. Okay, just let me ask, any doubt with this first sub unit, designing classroom instructions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Who prepares academic plan? Goji?
Sorry, sir?
Who prepares academic plan?
Means you are talking about my school?
In your school, who will prepare academic plan? Whether it is teacher prepares or principal prepares or clerk prepares, who prepares?
Academic plan is prepared by the teachers only.
Okay, right. Then unit plan?
Unit plan, that is also teachers, sir.
Okay. Lesson plan?
Lesson plan also teaches, sir.
Right. So you prepare your own syllabus for your school, or principal will give you what is the syllabus, or CBSE gives you syllabus? Who gives you syllabus? Who gives you plan for the entire year?
That is principal, sir.
Then Rajesh sir.
Sir, commission, education commission, because NCRT, CBSE and the boards of education will give the total academic calendar and academic plan, curriculum. Yes. Then you have to follow the same instructions based on the weightage and periods allotted. And the next comes on to subject level, easy level, difficult. That all will be comes under unit plan. Then based on the objectives and aims and goals, we have to prepare the lesson plan. How the student is reacted with this. This is the criteria in every school and college, and even in graduation level also.
Yes, sir, correct. Okay, now let us go to the second sub unit under the sub unit, factors affecting learning and their implications, under the heading understanding the teaching. This is a very lengthy unit, so I have to take extra time only, then only we can complete today. Okay, now we are moving to the next concept called planning student activities. Okay, you have instructions, you have academic plan, you prepared unit plan, and you have personally prepared even lesson plan. Now in that lesson plan, what are the activities you have planned and what are the activities must be planned, that we are going to discuss under the sub heading planning student activities, and why it is important to plan student activities before we enter into the classroom. But before that, let us go with the questions first. First question, Goji.
Yes, sir. Which of the following potential factors affecting teaching are not related to instructional facilities and learning environment? Non-availability of textbooks or reading materials for use, shortage of highly qualified teachers, proactive moves in the interactive process, then availability of smart classes.
So which of the following potential factors affecting teaching are not related to instructional facilities and learning environment? Which one is which option is correct? Which of the following potential factors affecting teaching are not related to instructional facilities and learning environment? Difficult question, Goji?
A little bit difficult, sir.
Others? What about others?
Sir, shortage of highly qualified teachers.
Right. So I am also checking the answer options so that we will not waste much time here. Okay, so the first question, where am I? The first question, which of the following potential factors affecting teaching are not related to instructional facilities and learning environment? The answer to this question is shortage of highly qualified teachers is the correct. That means instructional facilities are there, proper annual plan is there, proper academic plan is there, unit plan is there, lesson plan is there, children are motivated, but there are no highly qualified teachers. So which of the following potential factor affecting teaching are not related to instructional facilities and learning environment? That is shortage of highly qualified teachers. That is the answer option. So this is the question number 1. Answer is 2.
Option 2.
Option 2. Next question. Rajesh sir.
For better learning, which type of environment should be provided to children? Where their experiences and feelings will get a proper place, where they will get a maximum chance to play, where he is like to become more and more friends, where strict discipline is adapted.
For better learning. Okay, I am also not. Okay, right, here is the answers. I failed to mark answers.
where their experiences and feelings will get a proper place.
Right. I prepared the question paper, but I failed to mark answers. So now let me also check again. So for better learning, which type of environment should be provided to children? The right answer is where their experiences and feelings will get a proper place. Okay. So whatever the experience and whatever the feeling express, they should get a proper place, due recognition. So that is for better learning. Okay. Next question. What happened? This one. Okay. Duplicate. Next question. Deepa ma'am.
Yes,
Deepa ma'am. Match list 1 with list 2. Read first name of creativity block, action.
Name of the creativity block is perceptual block, emotional block, intellectual block, cultural block.
Right. And
Then actions are yes, lack of or incorrect information, difficulty in isolating the problem, playfulness is for children only, lack of access to areas of imagination.
Right. Let us discuss answer. I don't want to trouble you. Now, perpetual block. What are these actually? Name of creativity block. So different creativity blocks are there. So perpetual block of creativity means difficulty in isolating the problem. Perpetual blocks are obstacles that prevent the problem solver from clearly perceiving either the problem itself or the information needed to solve it. A few types of perpetual blocks are stereotyping, limiting the problem unnecessarily, saturation, or information overloaded. Then emotional block is a lack of access to areas of imagination. Emotional blocks interfere with your ability to solve problems in many ways. They decrease the amount of freedom with which people can explore and manipulate ideas, and they interfere with the ability to conceptualize fluently and flexibility. It includes fear of risk taking, lack of appetite for chaos, judging rather than generating ideas, lack of challenge, and inability to incubate. So emotional block also there. Sometimes even you explain so many things to students, but they don't feel what you are explaining, and you will say, I tried my best to explain, but you can't understand, because they don't have that kind of an emotional understanding of your explanation. They have emotional block. Then intellectual block is lack of or incorrect information. This block can occur as a result of inflexible or inadequate use of problem solving strategies. Lacking the necessary intellectual skill to solve a problem can certainly be a block, as can lack of information necessary to solve the problem. So when you don't know information to solve a problem, that creates intellectual blockage. Then cultural blocks suggest that playfulness is for children only. So cultural blocks are acquired by exposure to given set of cultural patterns, while environmental blocks are imposed by our immediate social and physical environment. So these are different blocks. Now which one is correct option? Let me also check. The correct answer option is option 1. That means A means 2, difficulty in isolating the problem. B is 4, emotional block, lack of access to areas of imagination. Then C is intellectual block, lack of or incorrect information. And D is 3, cultural block is difficulty in isolating the problem. So the answer is 1. Next question. Enough, 3 questions enough. Now how it will affect planning students activities, how it will affect. So here is the title, concepts of curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Why we should include curricular activities, co-curricular activities and extracurricular activities in the classroom. Sometimes some teachers say students come only to play, they don't want to study at all. Or sometimes teachers say every class must be given only for teaching, they are wasting time in playing games. So different things are there, and especially in KVS system there will be more cultural activities, extracurricular activities, co-curricular activities, so much of exposure given to students. So but why? In teaching learning process, planning of instructional activities enhances students' performance. So if you plan well for an activity to conduct in the classroom, that will enhance students' performance. Activity based teaching has gained a lot of prominence nowadays. Planning can give both teachers and students a sense of direction. So activity based teaching and activities are very important in classroom transaction. Now, why it is important of co-curricular activities? Why co-curricular activities plays a very crucial role or important role? Co-curricular activities means CCA activities we call co-curricular activities, CCA activities. There will be one in charge teacher for CCA. Mostly language teachers will be the in charges for CCA, but I am not CCA in charge. So importance of co-curricular activities. I will tell you one small joke. Listen to me. Am I audible, Goji?
Sir, clearly audible, sir.
So whoever principal, as a principal, they come to our school. In the first few days, they believe that Swamy is a PGT mathematics teacher. They don't believe that they don't have the feeling like Swamy is a PGT English.
Yes, sir.
So after interaction, so many of interactions, they'll ask again, Swamy, you teach maths or which subject? Then I say, sir, I teach English, sir. So that kind of opinion they form when they look at the teachers. Okay, so generally they have an opinion that maths teachers means active, more active, hyperactive, and physics teachers means very strict, very punctual, all those things. And biology teachers means, Rajesh sir,
very disciplined and confident.
at that same time very tell me, very serious in nature.
Yes, sir. Anxiety.
All those things. So,
and the English teacher means?
Which one?
English teacher means?
English teacher means jovial, funny, always smiling.
Yes, sir.
No tensions.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Right. Come back to the part here. So, co-curricular activities we are talking because those are important because it prepares the student for future. It helps them to develop the time management and contribute to holistic development of students. Not teaching English, physics, chemistry, maths, biology, computer science enough. The student should be given enough opportunities to participate in the co-curricular activities so that it can contribute to the holistic development of the student. That is the reason why co-curricular activities are important. Now, these are the principles underlying planning and organization co-curricular activities. You can't plan whatever the way you want to plan. There are certain principles are there. So selective activities that are closely related to curriculum. Whatever activities you are planning, that should be related to the curriculum. You can't divide, you can't go beyond the curriculum. You should meet always the aims and objectives of the curriculum. They should be educationally relevant. The selected activity should be constructive and should aim at development of higher level objectives which are not attainable through regular classroom teaching. So co-curricular activities are actually should act like in addition to the regular activities to enhance the student's performance. Example, novelty and originality, writing, skill of recitation of poems and discussions. In Kendriya Vidyalaya, we have so many different clubs are there. Literary clubs is there, science club is there, mathematics club is there, health club is there, fitness club is there. So many different clubs are there, and every Saturday we have 2 periods for time for these kind of different co-curricular activities. Then co-curricular activities should have place within school timing so that they can all participate. So whatever activities you are going to conduct, that should be inside the school, within the school hours. So we have every Saturday 2 periods are allotted for the co-curricular activities. Every Saturday, or depending upon the different regions and schools. Some schools they conduct CCA activities on Wednesday, or some schools conduct CCA activities on Saturday. 2 periods, morning assembly, after 2 periods they have to attend the co-curricular, singing, dancing, whatnot. You will see the mini India and you will enjoy a lot. Saturdays almost all relax. No teaching maximum takes place. Then as far as possible, all students should participate in one or other activity going on in the school. That is compulsory. The atmosphere has to be democratic, more suggestions and ideas. Youth parliament also we conduct in KVS. Then leadership should be proper and careful. And then administration and supervision should be there. Teachers will be there. Regularity in conducting co-curricular activities, games, sports, lot of stuff you will find in Kendriya Vidyalaya. And advisory and program should grow from small to large gradually. Initially there may be a few items and a few students, but gradually the program should widen the maximum number of students being involved. So if you enter into Kendriya Vidyalaya system, maximum you will be busy in conducting co-curricular activities. You will be given what you call house master or house masters only we call. Students will be divided into 4 different houses. What you call star they'll call Shivaji house, Raman house, Tagore house, STAR, Shivaji, Tagore, Ashoka and Raman. But when I was working in Assam, Deepa ma'am, am I audible? Deepa ma'am?
Yes, sir.
So when I was working in Guwahati, the four houses were named differently. Dihang, Dirang, some names of the rivers in Assam.
Brahmaputra. Yes, sir. Brahmaputra.
Not Brahmaputra, D it start. Dihang, Dirang.
Bihang, Dibang.
Likewise,
Yes, sir.
four houses are divided by the names of the four local rivers. So lots and lots of co-curricular activities you will find, and you will enjoy those co-curricular activities also. Next one is, what are the steps in preparation of a unit plan? So to create this kind of atmosphere, so we have to create unit plans also. Academic plan, it's a principal responsibility. Unit plan is the HOD's responsibility, and the lesson plan is the teacher's responsibility. So what are the steps involved in preparing a unit plan? Select a topic, divide the topic into subtopics. A lesson, for mathematics and the science teachers, you can't teach the entire chapter in one single class. For English it is possible, we will take one lesson, we'll teach one lesson. But for science, you need to divide that lesson into different topics, subtopics. Then develop a curricular statement for each subtopic, develop instructional procedures for each goal, link your unit to the national standards. You can't teach a substandard level. Plan and create your assessment tools, have benchmarks to make over through the unit. So whenever you are preparing a unit plan, these are the steps we have to follow when we are preparing the unit plan. Okay, then next one is lesson plan. Goji,
Yes, sir.
how do you prepare lesson plan?
No, sir. In our school, we did not need actually. we are teaching the text for a longer period of time, so we do not need, and even the principal and others do not enforce us actually.
So there is no preconditioned situation in your school, so that you can go teach in any lesson or you can teach in any methodology, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
I know in KVS it is very strict. We have to take lesson plan. I know. Yes,
we have to write lesson plan 15 days once, or if some principals are generous, they'll give opportunity to write once in a month. If principal is strict, he or she will ask to write fortnight. 15 days once we have to write the lesson plan. We have to submit the lesson plan to the principal. Okay, so preparation of lesson plan is a continuous process, and many postgraduate teachers, when they fed up with writing lesson plan or teachers diary, they'll apply for principal posts and they'll become principal. So many principals, they said that they hate.
It's a hectic task, sir. For a longer period of time, means if it is done in 1 year, then it's good. But each and every year you have to prepare lesson plans. You know the lessons quite well. You know how to teach and what to teach. But still you have to prepare lesson plan. This is not good actually, sir. In KVS you are enforced, I know, sir.
Right. So preparation of a lesson plan includes determine the learning objectives, develop the introduction, plan the specific learning activities, plan to check for understanding, develop a conclusion and a preview, create a realistic timeline, 40 minutes, how you are going to divide in the classroom, presenting the lesson plan, summarization of important points, and self-evaluation. So all these are the points we have to remember when preparing the lesson plan. Right. Next one, traditional classroom and constructivist classrooms. The difference between how the traditional classroom works and how the constructivist classroom, constructivism, I mean to say. Teacher is the primary source of information in the traditional classroom. Now there is no traditional classrooms. Teacher-centered classroom. Students are passive listeners. Less activity in the classroom. Traditional assessment involves formal and informal tests. But whereas in constructivist classroom, teacher plays a role as a facilitator and assists students in pursuit of knowledge. Then it is student-centered. Students are active participation. Hyperactive students will be in this kind of classrooms. Activity oriented classroom environment, and continuous and comprehensive evaluation happens in the constructive classroom. Nowadays most of the schools, they adopt this methodology. So student centered, students will be active in the classroom and the teacher should be passive, or he has to play the role of the facilitator. Then last one. So up to here we have completed two concepts. First one is designing classroom instructions, the reason why it is important and why planning student activities are important, because if you plan and if you design, then whatever you are going to teach in the classroom, that can be incorporated in your lesson plan. That is the purpose. And if you don't do that one, that will become a factor affecting learning and their implications. So the factors can be from student side or even from the teacher side. Now last one is creating learning spaces in school. It's not about filling the space in the school. We should create the learning spaces in the school for students. Now what is this learning space in the school? Let me ask one of you to read. Smita ma'am, can you please read?
Yes, sir. Our traditional conception of learning environment is centered on places and spaces. When we look at
Will I read that?
Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Okay,
My
Smita,
daughter's voice will be more
no
audible.
problem. Goji, please read.
Smita will speak in a rapid way. It's very fast. Okay.
Mathematics teacher Goji.
Yes, yes.
Read, please read.
Our traditional conception of learning environment is centered on places and spaces. When you look at today's classroom, it demands multiple modes of students learning and provides space for collaboration and cooperation among learners. In this sense, we can say that effective learning environments do not confine themselves to place, space, or time. It comprises different support systems like teaching methods, strategies, technologies, and teaching learning resources that need to be taken into consideration for creating a conducive learning environment. Providing meaningful learning in any context expands our notions of learning environment. With technological innovations, the concept of learning environment needs to be understood in the context of virtual learning. You are aware that how the influence of COVID-19 pandemic situation leads to the creation of virtual learning environment.
Right. So the concept is very simple. Before COVID, I never thought about conducting or taking classes in this kind of virtual manner. Now you are sitting in West Bengal. Smita is from Tamil Nadu. Rajesh is from Karnataka. Suma is from Karnataka. Deepa ma'am is from Northeast. So how is this possible? Are we all meeting every day in a real life? We are meeting here in a virtual platform. So creating learning spaces, that the dimensions of this space has been completely revolutionized because of the COVID. Before that, we were not knowing how to take classes online. We heard about taking classes online in America or Africa or somewhere, but in India, this COVID made us to learn these things. So now there are no limitations for learning. It demands multiple needs of students learning and provides space for collaboration, cooperation. And if you take the traditional concept of learning environment is centered on places and spaces, now it is not applicable. You can learn from anywhere, you can learn at any time, and you can learn from anyone. Understood, Goji?
Yes, sir.
So there is no restriction of place for learning, there is no restriction of space for learning, or there is no restriction of time for learning. So this is completely new for us. We were thinking only in school the learning takes place, only during classroom transaction the real learning takes place. Now students, they can learn at any time, at anywhere, any place, with anybody. And now most of the students, what they are doing in the classrooms is, now the students' attention span has decreased very bad. The reason is, now the students came to know one thing very clear. Even if they don't listen in the classroom, at home they can watch so many videos on YouTube. So why should they listen? Why should they pay attention in the classroom when they have an alternative source of learning? And those teachers, they look more modern. They use multimedia and they teach better than the regular traditional classroom teacher. Do you all face this problem? Whoever are working as teachers right now? Rajesh sir?
No, sir. Attendance is strict in my college.
Attendance is strict. They'll sit in the classroom, but do they really pay attention? Because earlier, what I mean to say, the traditional way of learning is the teacher is the only source of information. But now, there are so many sources of information. If we tell something, they will try to find a better person in a better manner, explains the things in the best possible way. So now students are exposed to so much of different information, so much of different ways to understand information, source of information. So now the space is not confined to school only. So this is a major problem most of the teachers we face in Bangalore cities. Like the students learn using lot of applications, like we have Byju's application, Alan is there, Akash, so many people. And YouTube, if you open, now YouTube has come up with YouTube learnings. Aware about, you know about this information? Goji?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Byju, as you told, Byju is really a good platform. Actually, I know the students belong to CBSE and ICSE. They follow actually Byju's platform actually right now.
हाँ गोजी, वो old concept हो गया. Now you can learn through YouTube. YouTube learning
YouTube,
has come. YouTube has launched even learning platform also.
Yes, sir.
So now instead of going to regular classrooms, you can even learn most of the concepts in this world sitting at your home, and you can learn things from international academicians or international experts. So English you can learn from a native speaker of England or native speaker of English. So it will be effective or not? Ghosh.
Definitely, from native speaker, definitely she will learn.
So YouTube has launched this new platform. You can learn now how to learn anything fast and easily, scientifically manner. You just look at those people who teach in those classes and look at ourselves. Then we'll understand what is the difference between them and us. When I watch those videos, I'm not deviating from the concept. Just 2 minutes time. When I looked those people who are teaching on YouTube, not uploading videos on YouTube. YouTube has selected few teachers and they are using those teachers' videos to create a certain community, learning community. So there are different concepts. You may have to pay something for them to watch those videos. So what I'm trying to tell you is future will be like attending classes, learning concepts at a single place or a particular space and time will be completely erased from the student's mind. Whenever they want to watch, they can watch. Wherever they want to watch, they can watch. From whom they want to learn, they can learn. So that will create a greater impact in the life of not only students but also teachers. And one more thing, when a student find a better teacher outside the school, they don't respect us. Did you understand my point, everybody?
Really, sir. Really, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you need to be more competent than the person who teaches online or on YouTube. Then only they will come and they will sit and they'll listen and they'll appreciate, and then they may accept you as a teacher. Otherwise they'll say that person teaches better than the person who is coming and standing in front of us. Children nowadays are smart, especially those are in the cosmopolitan cities, metropolitan cities. The parents are also smart, children are also smart. So learning environment, let us complete. It's already 7:45. Let us complete. A learning environment is a learning setting consisting of the physical environment, psychological factors and social relationships. So it is not about a simple coming and sitting in the classroom. A learning environment is a learning setting consisting of physical environment, the school, the infrastructure, psychological factor, the attitude, aptitude, motivation of the teacher, the same attitude, aptitude, motivation, learner centered, readiness to learn is also psychological factor, and the social relationships, how the student is related to the teacher, whether the teacher likes the student or whether the student likes the teacher, whether the teacher is a favorite teacher to the student, all those things affects the learning process in the classroom. Right? Now, types of learning environment. How can we make the students learn? It is not only in the formal way, there are different manners are there. Let us go with the types of learning environments. Formal environment, informal environment, virtual environment, non-formal environment. So now whatever you are learning is a virtual environment. There is no school, there is no institution, there is no bench, there is no chair, there is nothing. But we are all learning here. It is a virtual environment we have created. Now this type of learning system follows a definite syllabus. We are discussing formal environment. First one is formal learning environment. In this formal learning environment, this system follows a definite syllabus and closed examination system with an intention that learning is the ultimate goal of all the activities performed by the students. The learning outcomes of the performance or engagements are measured by the tests and exams and with some other sort of assessments too. So we are all using the formal learning environment in the clues. in the schools with a specified goals and objectives and expected outcomes. So that comes under formal learning environment. And this formal learning environment has a hierarchy. Now this will be changed because of the national education policy. So can anybody tell me what is the division of hierarchy of environment of learning? 5 plus or 3 plus 2 plus 3?
5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2.
3 plus 3 plus 2.
First one is
5.
Foundation.
Then 3, then 3, then 4.
first one is 5, correct?
5 plus 3 plus
5 plus
3 plus
3 plus
2 plus 2 plus 4.
Sir, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4.
3 plus 4.
Yes, sir.
5 plus 3
3
plus
plus 3 plus 4.
plus
4.
4.
Yes. 5 primary, class 1 to class 5. Then this is 6 to 8. And what about this one? 3 means?
No, sir. First one is Anganwadi 3 years, and then 1, 2,
First one is foundation.
and then 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
And then 6,
Foundation stage, pre-primary stage, foundation stage.
Okay. Then 5 means it is UKG, LKG, correct? LKG, UKG plus up to third class.
second standard.
Up to second, first, second, third.
In that
second.
it is 3 plus 2, right, sir? So
Right,
it will be
NEP, correct? 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4.
4, sir.
Yes, sir.
5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So what is this 5 plus 3 plus 3 formula? Wait a minute. Why I should get, because here is there. What happened?
So 5 is 3 to 5 years.
5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. This is the formula, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now come back. Let me take the image here. 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3.
3 plus 4.
5 plus first 5 years is preschool plus grade 1 and grade 2.
Yes, sir.
Right. Let me just copy the image. I will be seeing, but you will not be seeing. Okay, right. So here I'll paste. Here you can see 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. First one is preschool plus grades 1 and 2, foundational. Then pre-preparatory, class 3, class 4, class 5. Then middle, class 6, class 7 and class 8. Then the last one is, fourth one is class 9, 10, 11 and 12. So 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, this is the grading system. In the formal learning environment, the assessment grading system is marks range. They may ask you CGP and all those things also. So A1 grade, marks range 91 to 100, grade point is 10. So you can go through this information afterwards. You can understand who is cleared. The student who scored D passed, and the student who scored E1 and E2, they are considered to be failure or failed. Then informal learning environment. So in the formal learning environment, all this process is followed, and in informal learning environment, learning of a mother tongue by an individual, learning from observations are some examples which do not require structured or organizational setting for learning. Such a learning environment is known as informal learning environment. So we all learnt our mother tongue in an informal environment. Our mother did not take morning classes, afternoon classes, evening classes, did not give lunch break, all breaks. She taught us mother tongue in an informal learning situation. So learning something through observation also comes under informal learning. Now this informal learning is also called self-directed learning, or under informal learning we have self-directed learning. So types of informal learning, we can go with self-directed learning and socialization and incidental. What is incidental? Something happens suddenly in your life and you learnt a lesson from that. Socialization, by mingling with people you learn so many things, that comes under socialization. Self-directed learning, you want to learn something in an informal learning situation. So that comes under informal learning situation. So there are three types of informal learning situations are there: self-directed learning, incidental learning and socialization. So this is the topic for types of learning. And then we have to discuss non-formal learning. So there is nothing informal, there is nothing formal, something you learnt accidentally or something you learnt without any kind of proper reasoning, then we can call it as a non-formal. And we are discussing virtual. Whatever you are learning now in this mode or method is called virtual. Let me just go to the PDF. What is that one? Non-formal, correct? Let me be very specific. Now, any questions with this before I close this one? Only one confusion. Now it is non-formal learning, correct? Goji?
Yes, sir.
So what is non-formal learning? Non-formal learning. Right. Non-formal learning takes place outside formal learning environment, but within some kind of organizational framework. Okay. So it is not intended or not part of the curriculum, but it will be learnt inside the organizational framework only. Wait a minute, let me give you image.
NCC, NSS like that, sir.
So non-formal learning takes place through courses, attending courses, workshops, seminars and trainings. So this comes under non-planning, non-formal, formal, informal and non-formal, often outside a formal learning environment, but that is structured. That is part of the structure. Wait a minute, I'll save this screen. So where we are here, correct? Let me just paste this one. You can see on screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
So formal education, location in education institutions we learn and we get the qualification. Informal education, location in everyday life, in the groups we learn and is no qualification. You can't say that you know something informally learned then you don't have a certificate for that. Then non-formal education means location, extracurricular training by attending seminars or meetings, and you may not get certification but you will learn so many things by attending in this non-formal manner. So what I mean to say before I end today's class is we have different types of learning environments in real life. And what are those different types of environment learnings? To create learning spaces. This is the information under the subtopic creating learning spaces. The students can learn in formal manner, or the students can learn in informal manner, or the students may learn in non-formal manner, and the students may also learn virtual manner. As a teacher, we should create these kind of learning spaces in the learning environment we have to create. So formal types of learning environments are formal, where institution in the school the students learn. Informal, where the mother teaches, at home we learn. Non-formal means whatever you learn that will be part of the institution but that will not be structured. Then virtual, whatever we are learning now, it is called the virtual learning. So now let me quickly summarize whatever we have learned or what we did in this classroom. Is we started today a new topic after formal introduction for understanding the teaching learning. We took a subtopic under the understanding the teaching learning, and that one is factors affecting learning and their implications. So under these factors affecting learning and their implications, there are three subtopics are there. The first one is designing classroom instructions that we completed today with the help of some examples and questions and information. And then the second one is planning student activities, concept of curricular activities, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities. And then the third subtopic under this main topic is creating learning spaces in school. So we have to create learning environment, and there are 4 different types of learning environment we can create for the students to learn things, and that is formal environment, informal environment, non-formal environment and virtual environment. So with this we have completed the second subtopic under understanding teaching learning process or understanding teaching learning. The second subtopic is factors affecting learning and their implications for Thanks for watching this video. If you have come to the end of this video, I believe that you are interested to watch a few more videos related to the topic. So now you can check this out video or watch this one. Click this video, it will take you into another video.